Oof, this old FV103 Spartan seen better days. During urban combat, the Russians took out its biggest strength, the tracks that let it hit 60 miles per hour. With the vehicle immobilized, Ukrainian troops had to abandon it. But what if you paired that speed with an M2 grounding? It's simple. Surprise the enemy, lay down suppressive fire, and let the assault team do the rest. Spartan is a British veteran that's made its way back onto the modern battlefield in Ukraine. But maybe it's time he retired? Let's find out. Today, about 1,000 FV103 Spartans are still in service around the world. And while they're over 50 years old, they've been far from idle. After the full-scale invasion, the UK donated 35 Spartans to Ukraine from its own reserves. But as the saying goes, you can never have too many armored vehicles, especially when you're fighting the Russians. That's why Ukrainian volunteers crowdfunded $6.5 million in just 36 hours to buy 60 more Spartans. When your country's at war, those birthday gift funds turn into a 50-call surprise for the enemy. Help us bring you more. Like this video to support the channel. The Spartan wasn't originally designed for storming enemy positions or dropping troops right on the front lines. Its job was to support other units behind the scenes. In the early 1980s, Spartans were mainly used to transport air defense teams, equipped with British man-pads like the Javelin and Starburst. The Javelin was phased out in the 90s. Thanks to its compact size and off-road speed, engineers also used it to quickly deploy support teams. But the Russian-Ukrainian war has flipped more than one military doctrine on its head. So it's no surprise to see the Spartan not just in the rear, but right in the thick of it. Here's what one Ukrainian soldier had to say about how they use it. Our job is to move in unnoticed, complete the task unnoticed, drop off the assault team unnoticed, get in, get our guys out. That's our main mission. Because of the constant shortage of armored vehicles, Ukrainians use Spartans for everything. Troop transport, fire support, supply runs, and medevac. And that's where one of the Spartan's biggest strengths and weaknesses comes into play: its size. On the plus side, being small and nimble makes you harder for Russian drones to spot and hit. It's also way easier to hide than, say, an old Soviet APC. Case in point. One of its advantages is that you can tuck it under a tree and you're covered. These days, with all the enemy's aerial recon, the name of the game is hide, hide, and hide again. But with small armored vehicles comes one big, glaring downside: limited interior space. That means less comfort for the crew and fewer troops in the back. The base Spartan is built for 7 people total, including the crew. But leave it to Ukrainian engineers to have their own ideas about field upgrades. One of its main drawbacks was supposed to be its limited capacity. Take a look at what the 24th Brigade did. They fully rebuilt it, and now it's a stadium in here. There's loads of space. Wow, sounds impressive. But do these upgrades actually hold up in combat? Not just on paper? Before we answer that, your subscription tells YouTube our channel is worth watching. Tap subscribe to support us. When we were pulling guys out from a position, we could fit 12, even 13 people. On the way back, there's no gear inside, so you pack them in like Tetris. In Ukraine, the Spartan has picked up another critical role: medical evacuation. It's a mission where every second counts, and getting a wounded soldier to medics quickly can be the difference between life and death. We had a recon guy, badly wounded, almost 6 feet 5 inches tall. We laid him down right here. We didn't even need to use the bench. Getting a casualty to the med station is not just about driving skill, and it's also a test of the vehicle's armor. Enemy drones, ambushes, RPGs, or even worse, anti-tank missiles can pop up at any moment. And this is where the Spartan shows its biggest weakness: protection. The armor, it's aluminum. The idea is that the Spartan punches through fast, maybe takes a few hits and keeps moving. The front of the vehicle is its strongest angle. It's sloped to increase the chance of enemy rounds bouncing off instead of punching through. That's the theory anyway. The front armor is the strongest. The vehicle is rated to withstand 14.5mm rounds from 200 meters away, and that's largely thanks to the angled front plate. If a shell explodes nearby, Spartan's armor is more than enough to protect the crew from the shockwave and deadly shrapnel. In one case, a Russian Lancet drone detonated right next to a Spartan, and when it kept moving, the Russians followed up with a mortar strike. The result? Dented armor, but the crew walked away unharmed. This vehicle meets Western standards. The most important thing is keeping the crew alive. If the machine gets taken out after that, well, that's just how it goes. But let's be real, if that Russian drone had hit square in the side, the story might have ended much worse. The same goes for most modern munitions with a serious warhead. Still need convincing? Let's rewind to the Gulf War. A British Challenger 1 accidentally fired on a friendly FV103 Spartan. It happened at a distance where thermal sights couldn't clearly identify the target. 2 British soldiers were badly wounded. They got insanely lucky. Could have been much worse. Thankfully, the Spartan comes with life-saving systems for exactly these moments. And they actually work. You've got the ventilation system here. There's lighting. There's also a fire suppression system. That lucky break in the Gulf War probably also had to do with the long range of the shot. Plus, the Spartan has a clever bit of engineering that adds protection up front. And it might surprise you. The engine and transmission themselves act as an extra layer of armor. I think the transmission and engine help protect the commander and driver if a round hits the front. And here's another nice touch. The Spartan has storage boxes for all the tools and gear you might need during a mission, and even that can double as protection. Everything in these little boxes can be used as extra armor. If you throw some wrenches in there, congratulations. You've got improvised ballistic plating, a small but very useful feature added by the engineers. External sensors mounted on the armor help the driver keep track of key system indicators while on the move. When the driver pops out of the hatch, he can still monitor the readings: oil temperature, pressure, coolant levels, and so on. These 3 little lights right here signal any critical issues. But unfortunately, no vehicle is all upside. The biggest drawback of the Spartan is its age. Finding spare parts for this Cold War relic is no easy task. It takes some serious hunting across the globe. For the machines officially transferred by the UK, there aren't enough spare parts included. And for the ones bought by volunteers, spare parts should be there. At least that's what the sellers promise. To make up for the Spartan's age and weaknesses, every vehicle had to be upgraded and fitted with modern electronics. This one's got an onboard Harris communication system. It comes as part of the kit. Great brand, one of the best. Thanks to skilled Ukrainian hands and routine maintenance, these machines not only gained extra life, but became a lot more comfortable inside. Over time, rubber seals lose their grip, so we gave this hatch a quick spray with silicone. Now it stays dry even in the rain. And in mobile defense operations, the Spartan's speed has been a real asset, allowing fast movement not just on paved roads but across muddy terrain, which makes up most of the front line. He can hit 60 miles an hour. Of course, it all depends on the terrain. If the road's full of potholes, sure, you'll feel it. But in extreme situations, it'll get you there. The suspension holds up. Ukrainian troops use the Spartan for fast raids, hitting Russian forces when they least expect it, and quickly taking over enemy positions. The vehicle's compact size makes it easy to conceal while its tracked platform allows for a stealthy approach. The road wheels are rubberized, and that's one of its perks. It's quiet, no metal clanging, and the tracks have rubber pads too, which helps reduce noise. But tracks also bring their own headaches. If the tension isn't set correctly, it can lead to breakdowns or even a complete halt. And that's not just a Spartan issue, it applies to any tracked vehicle. You need to keep an eye on the track tension. One British instructor gave us a tip. You can check it with your fist, because you don't always have a proper measuring tool with you in the field. The factory version of the FV103 Spartan comes with an L37A 17.62mm machine gun, mounted on the commander's hatch. But in an assault, that's about as useful as firing a pistol at a tank. That's why Ukrainian crews have upgraded it with a heavy-hitting Browning M2. Recognize that American classic? Click the link in the top right corner to learn more about its role in today's war. Mounting a Browning M2 on the Spartan is a bold but debatable decision. With the L37A1, you can fire from inside the vehicle. Not so with the Browning. People who've used it in combat say one of the big drawbacks is the lack of protection. You have to expose yourself to fire it. You can't operate it from inside. Reloading is also a challenge. Imagine doing that while dodging shrapnel or a buzzing Russian FPV drone. Eventually, you'll run out of rounds, and it happens fast. Then you've got to change the ammo box, which is no small task in combat. In peaceful European countries, the CVRT series is already heading into retirement. But in Ukraine, things are different. The shortage of equipment means anything that still runs is heading to the front line, even if it's over 50 years old. On today's battlefield, the Spartan isn't a dusty old veteran. It's an active duty soldier. Its biggest strengths are speed and agility, ideal for getting troops in or wounded soldiers out. But its armor doesn't match up to other Western IFVs like the M113. And while you might want to add extra protection to the Spartan, the engine likely can't handle the extra weight. So if it were your call, which vehicle would you pick for the job? Spartan, M113, or BMP-1? Let us know in the comments.